Hey everybody, it's Joyce, the Expressive Arts Coordinator from Fellowship Place, back with a new art directive for this week. So this week we'll be making vision boards using collage. Images are super powerful, and vision boards are a way that we can provide clarity around things that we want or desire for the future. Using collage, or the combining of words or images on a surface, allows us to include a whole spectrum of ideas into one piece of art. This period in history, this pandemic, has been challenging and new for everybody. And as we're constantly adapting and adjusting to this new reality, it's easy to forget to pause and reflect and acknowledge the ways that we've grown and learned about ourselves. These reflections allow us to gain clarity on our future, even if so much of the future is unknown. That being said, this week we will be making vision boards that are inspired by the following two questions. One, what have I learned about myself during this time? And two, what will I carry with me into the future? Don't worry, we'll go over those again later. But before we begin the project making process, let's go over the materials you're going to need to do it. All right, see you in a second. Okay, so here are the materials you're going to need for this week's project. First, you're going to need a piece of paper or a notebook and a pen, because the first step of this project, we're actually going to be doing some journaling. Then for the collage component, you will need a piece of paper or a piece of cardboard. This could be an actual piece of paper you have in your house or like a recycled side of a box. Get creative. That's the cool thing about collage. Your surface, so this piece of paper or cardboard, can be as big or as small as you'd like. It's totally up to you. The next thing you're going to need is magazines or newspapers or cutouts from things you've seen around to use in your collage. And then the last thing you're going to need is some sort of adhesive. So I think glue stick is the best for collage, so I'm going to be using that. But if you have Elmer's glue, or even if you just have tape, or even staples if you want, that'll do the job too. Just some sort of way to make things stick. An optional material you might want is like a marker, a crayon, a pastel, any drawing utensil that will allow you to add additional details on top of the pieces that you are gluing onto your surface. So again, that's optional, but sometimes I like to use that with collage. Okay, I think that's all the materials you'll need. Let's get started. All right, so as I mentioned before, the first step of this process is actually going to be journaling. So grab your pen and paper and spend some time writing in response to the following two questions. The first question is, what have I learned about myself during this time? And this time is the pandemic. What have I learned about myself during this time? The second question is, what will I carry with me into the future? The question is, what will I carry with me into the future? And as you reflect, focus on feelings and experiences, as well as objects and accomplishments that you'd like to see for yourself in the future. And, I'll leave you now for a little while to do some writing. I suggest maybe pausing the video and setting up a little writer space for yourself. So maybe you want to play some soft music, light a nice smelling candle if you have one, make a cup of tea. Really give yourself the time and space to pause and reflect, because you deserve it and it's really important. So like I said, pause the video now if you'd like and give yourself the time to write, and we'll check in with the next step whenever you're ready to press play again. All right, happy writing. Welcome back. I hope that your journaling went well and was insightful in some ways. I want you to take a second to notice how you feel after doing that. Maybe something has shifted in your mind or in your body, but just take a second and go inside and see if anything has shifted. Maybe nothing shifted at all, but either way, it's important to check. And before we move on to the next step, which is the creation of your collage, take a moment to read over what you wrote. And as you read over it, hold your pen and underline any important words or sentences or ideas that came up for you. These sort of pieces that you highlight in your writing can and will be the things that you add to your collage once you get started with that. So let's move on to some art making. All right, now it's time to make your collage. So make sure you have all your materials ready and you're ready to get in the zone. All right, so before you begin, I'd like you to take your piece of paper that you're gonna work on and fold it in half like I did. You can fold it any way you want, but just make sure there's two separate sides to work on. So on one side, you're going to create a collage that answers the first question, which is, what have I learned about myself during this time? And you can take as long as you want on this collage. Seriously, 5 minutes, an hour, 2 days, it's totally up to you. Just take your time with it. And then when you're done with that side, you'll flip your paper over, and on the second side, you will answer the question, what will I carry with me into the future? So that when you open it up, you can hold them side by side and see what you learned and what you're gonna carry with you. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start collaging now too. So let's check in after we finish, or maybe we never finish once we're at a good pausing point. And don't forget that you can use any drawing utensil like a marker or crayon or anything like that to add any details you'd like. So enjoy, take your time, use the highlighted words from your writing, and yeah, see you on the other side. Woo! I don't know about you, but I just got in the collage zone. So welcome back, everybody. I hope that was clarifying and powerful and a good use of like reflection time. I found that what came up for me through my journaling and through my collage was very, very powerful and really cool to see some things I had been feeling sort of externalized and on a page. It gives me a lot of clarity. So this side was answering the first question, which is what I've learned about myself during this time. So I'll just zoom in for you. And this side is what I'm going to carry with me into the future. So I hope that your collages came out to your liking and reflected how you've grown in this process. And remember that as strange and as challenging as these times are and as stuck as we might feel, we're still growing and we're still learning. And by taking the time to reflect on the ways that we're growing and changing and thinking about ourselves, we can focus on some things that we can carry into the future and allow ourselves some sense of control. So thanks for coming with me on this journey. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week for another directive. Bye!